Hey everybody, this is Mr. McKee with NOS-130. I wanted to go over lesson 12 lab, which is configuring the DNS role on server 2012 R2. I'm starting out. I'm in my NetLab system. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I've got a reservation already. You probably want to make it more than 23 minutes. I'm going to try to do this in 23 minutes. It's got class. Alright, enter that. What we're going to be using is client 1, which is a Windows 10 machine, and server 1, which is our server 2012 machine. So you click on that. Alright, client 1. Let's go ahead and log in this. Alright, and what we need to look at first, type in command, ipconfig, space / all. Alright, we'll be setting up a DNS server. Right now it just has the default IP version 6 settings. Alright, and then on server 2012 R2, click that. Alright, let's let Server Manager boot up real quick. Alright, local server. We need to know this IP address. Alright, that's going to be our DNS server. This is our client we're going to configure. So let's go ahead and let's install the role first. Go to Manage, Add Roles and Features. We call it defaults. Alright, so we're going to install a DNS server. And now normally you do this in production environment. You're going to have DHCP DNS server set up first, and then DHCP. We're just going to do a DNS server and have it automatically update entries. Alright, so let's do that. Click install. Installation should be pretty fast on this server. Let's let it do its thing. Alright, so while that's doing its thing, let's go to client 1, click on File Explorer. Alright, so under Network, you can right click that, click Properties. Alright, so one thing, we know the server 1 IP address, which is 192.168.30.3. Need to kind of write that down or note that. Alright, this installation is completed. Alright, let's go to client 1. Go to Properties. Alright, so we need to tell it manually, in this case, 192.168.30. And just make sure 30.3. That's our DNS server. Alright, so that's correct. Alright, that needs to be configured, and then also go back to File Explorer, right click on this PC, and right here, and just note WIIN10 edu1 is the name of this computer. Alright, change settings to rename this computer or change this domain or work group. Click change right there. Alright, and then under more, the DNS suffix or domain name in this case is going to be the same, which is going to be NTM or your initials. Those are my initials. Lab.local. Alright, so that's my primary DNS suffix. Gotta have that correct, make sure it's spelled correctly. Alright, let's click that. This, restart now, that's fine. Alright, let's go to the server. Alright, we see that our two roles are here, File and Store Services and DNS. That's in there correctly. Alright, let's right click that, DNS Manager. Alright, DNS Manager is up. Alright, so we're going to set up a forward lookup zone, which is going to do take computer names and convert that into an IP address, and reverse lookup zone, which is the inverse of that. Alright, so if I right click that, new zone. Alright, we're doing a primary zone, we're not doing a secondary or stub zone. Alright, our zone name, which is your initials lab.local. Type that in. It's going to create a new file with that name. That's fine. All right. In a production environment, I probably wouldn't click allow both non-secure and secure dynamic updates to your DNS entries. In this case, we were going to do it because we just want to make sure that the DNS communications are working between my client and my server. All right, so I'm going to click that, click next. Okay, and then also click on reverse lookup zones, new zone, primary zone. IP version 4 reverse lookup zone should be already checked or clicked. All right, so our network ID is 192.168.30. All right, your fourth octet is grayed out because you're not going to put that in there. If you look down here, it's the inverse of that IP address I just put in. That's fine. It'll create a new file. All right, also here, allow both non-secure and secure dynamic updates. All right, click finish. All right, so now the DNS entries are up here. Or I'm sorry, not DNS entries, the forward lookup zones and reverse lookup zones. All right, so they're in there. Now what we will want to do is go on this server. I'm going to minimize this. And let's do our entries in here also. So under network, let's set up our IP address. All right, so this is manually configured. All right, DNS server, we could put 192.168.30.3, but we know that's the same thing as 127.0.0.1. If you put it in 192.168.30.3, it's going to change it to that anyways, to the local host address. All right, so click OK on there, and then close this down. All right, so on this PC, properties, see our names right there. Let's go to change. All right, let's put our DNS suffix in again, which is your initials lab.local, and just make sure that you spelled the name correctly, because if it's not spelled correctly, it's not going to know. All right, you have issues. All right, so got to restart to make those changes. That's fine. All right, let's let that restart, and then go over to client 1, log in it. And what we'll do while the server's coming back up, we'll go down to command, ipconfig /all. All right, now primary DNS suffix ntm lab.local. All right, DNS suffix search list ntm lab.local. All right, DNS server, that's correct. All right, make sure that's right. All right, let's go over to server, click Control Delete, log in with that. All right, let's let server manager come back up. Normally this process for these records to load is going to take a couple minutes. All right, so let's go to DNS. Right click that, server manager. All right, so we had forward lookup zone. All right, server 2012 R2 has already popped up, so that's good. It dynamically entered that, and then reverse lookup zone. All right, that is the reverse 192.168.30.3. All right, and you can manually enter these. You do that a lot of times, and that's more secure because somebody can't, dynamically update a computer that's not supposed to be on your network, things like that. But in this case, we're just going to test the process of DNS updating. All right, so let's go back. What we can do also is restart this. Just give it a second to restart. Alright, so it's back up. If you're doing this on your home computer, it's probably going to take a little bit longer than that. These servers are really, really fast. Alright, so let's go back here. We can refresh it. Alright, now it's popped up. Alright, so 2 dynamic entries right there under our forward lookup zones, and then reverse lookup zones. One hasn't popped up yet. Alright, click the little refresh button. Alright, so now it's doing, it knows that SRV 2012 R2 is connected to 192.168.30.3 and Win10 edu1 is connected to 30.2 and vice versa. Alright. And if you want to manually enter these entries, you could right click, new host, enter it there and the IP address. I'm not going to do that. You can create a associated pointer record which will enter this right here automatically at PTR. Alright. But what you need to do, I'm going to grade on based on one thing, the name right here. Forward lookup zone should be your initials, 3 initials, lab.local. Alright, that, which if this isn't working, you need to make sure that, go over here, right click on this, properties. Alright, so I want to see this. Alright, full computer name, SRV 2012 R2.ntmlab.local. Alright, and then also on client 1, go over here, properties. Alright, Windows 10 Education 1.ntmlab.local. Alright. We're working on a work group right now. When we do this next class and do it on Active Directory, all this is going to be automated, so it's going to be way easier to configure. But if you can configure it manually, you can definitely you know what's going on. So when you configure it in Active Directory, it's easier to understand. All right, so 3 screenshots. Screenshot of the DNS manager with these entries. All right, right there. Kind of like that. Screenshot of your system on your server 2012 machine, and then a screenshot of your system settings on your Windows 10 Client 1 machine. Alright, and go ahead and submit those in the Moodle under this week's lab, and you should be good to go. Thanks for watching.